I've made many videos talking about Errol Spence Jr. Lately. Um, as we already know, he hasn't fought in 2 years. And, I'm a Terence Crawford fan. I also always gave Errol Spence his flowers, always gave him his respect. There was a lot of times that, where we thought that he was avoiding Terence Crawford. And I still to this day think there was a part of him that he knew he didn't want no parts of Bud. But they pushed him into that fight, man. I think he took it because he knew it was a bag, but he knew it was a big risk. He probably wasn't going to win that against Bud, but he had to sell the fight, man. He had to do that. Guess he was under pressure. You know what? Fuck it. Let's take this fight. Let me jump in this. Let me jump through this fire, So he get all my respect for that, man. But he hasn't fought in a while. No tune-up Spence. That's what I call him sometimes, because he goes by this whole thing where he doesn't believe in tune-ups, and he like jumping right into the fire. Okay, and sometimes that's a bad thing. There would have been absolutely nothing wrong with Errol Spence taking a couple of tune-ups by now, man. Nobody would have looked at him different. They would have like, much respect. You got to come back. That beating he took was crazy. So you had to come back and test the waters again. Nobody would have faulted Errol Spence for doing that. And he was supposed to get in the ring with Fundora, and that should tell you everything right there why that fight never happened. It's many reasons why that fight probably never happened. Maybe it was financial reasons. It probably was his team probably thought twice about it, like, no, it's not a good idea. Which right there is telling you, you needed a tune-up. There's no shame in taking a tune-up after taking a beating like that, man. That was that was a beatdown, bro. He took that shit and he didn't quit. He never quit. He never took a knee and quit. He was going to go out on his shield. Ref stopped it. Rightfully. And unfortunately, man, I don't know what's next for him. He's pretty much out of service, man. He's like a car that you see that's had the cover put over it for a long time and needs work done to it. And after a while, when your car's sitting for a long time and you go to start it up again, it's rusty or it needs things done to it. It can't just sit there inactive. You have to always turn the engine on to keep everything flowing correctly. It's the same with Errol Spence, man. It would have been real good for him to test, get in the ring, take some light touches to keep everything flowing, keep the motor oil running good, to keep the rust away. And the longer he stays away, the more you start to realize he may not be coming back, And if he does, at this point, going by Errol Spence's logic, how he doesn't want tune-ups, if he does happen to get in the ring now, at this point, and does fight like a Fundora or a Bakram Murtazaliev or somebody like that, he's going to get hurt bad. And I don't want to see that happen to him at all. I don't want to see that happen to no fighter. So it will probably be best for him, if he decided to come back, was to take a few tune-ups, man. I would say 3. Because the longer he stays away, for every 3 months, I think, for every 2-3 months he stay away, that should be a tune-up. Every 3 months he don't fight should be a tune-up. So if he going for another year, that should be 4 tune-up fights, bro. That's the way I see it, man. At least 3. No less than 3 tune-ups, man, to make up for all the lost time. Because if he gets in the ring with somebody like that, like a Fundora, God forbid, they might kill that boy, man. And I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to see him a vegetable. He got kids, bro. I don't want to see him seriously hurt. I would not like that. I like, Errol Spence is a cool, calm, and collective dude. I like his demeanor. It's really unfortunate, but that's just the brutal nature of the sport that, you on top today, and then you could be on the bottom tomorrow. You hot now and you cold tomorrow. And all it takes is one fight to change the trajectory of everything. We've seen this time and time again. We've seen it happen with Errol Spence. We've seen it with Mike Tyson to a certain extent. We've seen it with Tim Tszyu. We just saw that with Tim Tszyu, with Bakram Murtazaliev ruined him. All right, and that's the nature of this shit. Canelo Alvarez beat up Jermell Charlo. Maybe that could have been. He hasn't fought since either. Why hasn't he fought since? Maybe he's not the same again. You know. So that's the sad reality of boxing. It's just almost like, you know, you fighting and you getting damaged in the ring up until a certain point where, you know, you get too damaged in a certain fight and then you pretty much shelved and nobody want, you know, you're not good for nothing no more. You know, like a old beat up robot. You know, it's crazy. Sad when you really look at it in that perspective, but that's just reality, man. You know, hopefully it's 2025. Maybe he, you know, pride kills, bro. Sometimes pride kills, and some, you know, your pride will lead you astray sometimes. And if he still has that belief system where he don't want to take a tune-up, he has no other option. Either A, you don't fight again. B, you jump right into the fucking lion's den and get decimated. Or C, you take a tune-up. Anyway, let me know how you feel about this, man. It's your boy Rebel Life Boxing. I'll catch y'all later.